In today's video, we are going to explore the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, that you may know already here in purple at the bottom of the chart. It is an oscillator indicator which oscillates between 0 and 100 and typically between 30 and 80 or 70 usually. And when the value is high, usually above 70 or so, it indicates good momentum in the price, as you can see here on Bitcoin in the daily time frame. When the candlesticks are very powerful, relative strength index, the RSI, is quite high, above 70. And when the momentum loses a bit of power, the RSI is waning a little bit, as you can see, from the 70 and above values to below 70. So if you don't know already, the very goal of this channel is to find the best automatable strategies that we can trade, especially on Bitcoin here, but more generally on crypto, and then trade a portfolio of these automated strategies. The ultimate goal, of course, is to have a growing account with an equity curve that's growing steadily to the upside. So what is the strategy that we are going to study today based on the RSI? Here in the daily time frame. By the way, we are also going to explore the 4-hourly and the 2-hourly. It's very simple. When the candlestick here, the daily candlestick, closes and the RSI value is above 80, so above that threshold of 80, so a very high value for the RSI, it means that there is a strong momentum in the price action and we choose to enter a long. So it's a very aggressive strategy in the sense that we enter at a very high price, at a locally high price at least. So here we would have entered when this very strong candlestick to the upside closes, so at about $88,500 here on Bitcoin. And then we closes a certain number of candlesticks after that entry. So if we choose, for example, to close the long trade after 2 days, we would have closed the trade when this little green candlestick closes, so at about $90,300 for Bitcoin. So this is kind of a breakout strategy that tries to capture a strong momentum in price, whether it is in daily, in 4-hourly, in 2-hourly. It doesn't matter really what time frame we use. We are going to study the daily, 4-hourly and 2-hourly today. So to summarize it, we enter when the RSI is above 80 at the candlestick close, and we exit a certain number of candlesticks after, still when the candlestick closes. And of course, what we are going to watch particularly is the length of the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, which is typically 14. This is the default length that everybody uses, but of course today we are going to explore more than this simple length of 14. We are going to explore the range from 1 to 10 in the RSI length. So let's take a look at the first backtest that I did using an RSI of length 5 with a close 5 candlesticks later. So 5, 5. And as you can see, the number of trades, so it's here in 4-hourly. Yes, I had to say that. It's not daily or 2-hour, it's 4-hour. The number of trades is quite high, as you can see on the top chart. You can see the green bands, in fact, that indicates when we are in a long trade. Also, let's say that there is a 0.1% fee for the entry and exit of each trade, and we compound for each trade. 100% of the allocation for each trade is compounded into the next. So you've got all the details. You've got here the equity curve in blue, which is not very nice. The Sharpe ratio is in fact below 1, and we had to handle a very big drawdown here in after the 2021 peak of Bitcoin. But overall, we can sense that there is something to exploit here with this strategy. Here's a new backtest where we use a length of 7 for the RSI and we closes 5 candlesticks later, still in 4-hour time frame. You can see that the equity curve is very nice, not very big drawdowns, and the return multiplier here would be 5 over a 7-year long backtest or so. So the backtest started at about 2017 or 2018, I don't remember here, where Bitcoin was about $4,000 per Bitcoin, and the backtest ends here in the beginning of 2025, where Bitcoin is around $100,000. So about 25x over the course of this whole time range here. But the problem is we had to sustain very big drawdowns in Bitcoin. You can see here the price in black with drawdowns up to 70, even sometimes 80% if you had been a hodler. But with this strategy, as you can see, no drawdown of 70% or so. So I just checked, and the max drawdowns were between 20 and 30% for this strategy, with a length of 7 and a close duration 5 candlesticks after. So now let's take a look at the heat maps for the daily, the 4-hourly and the 2-hourly, where we explore different lengths for the RSI, as well as different number of candlesticks after which we close the trade. So here's the first one in the daily time frame. As you can see, this is a heat map where the x-axis shows the RSI length and the y-axis shows the number of candlesticks after which we close each long trade. So the greener the better. It shows in fact the Sharpe ratio, which is a risk-adjusted performance metric that you may already know when it's above 1. So here the maximum values of the Sharpe ratios that we had for the daily time frame was above 1.25, as you can see here on the right. And the best values were hit when the RSI length is between 4 and maybe 10, something like that. And the durations are not so clear, as you can see, because seemingly we could select a trade duration, so in candlesticks, here measured in candlesticks, between maybe 3 and even 10 candlesticks after the entry. So for these values, we would have hit a quite good Sharpe ratio. The only problem is the number of trades, in fact. I want in these strategies to have some sort of statistical conviction into them to reach a certain number of trades over the backtest. So usually when the trade duration after the entry is too long, so maybe 10, 9 or 8 here in the daily time frame, the overall number of trades is not very high. So we are going to ditch all these values here and go towards the trade duration which is less long. So between 3 and 5 maybe we could keep these performances here and try to play with these values. So now let's take a look at the 4-hourly heat map. Still the same x-axis and y-axis. What I like with the 4-hourly, and it's usually the case with all the strategies that I backtest, there are a certain number of trades, usually over 100 or so, and I like that. I want a certain number of occurrences in the strategies to have some statistical meaning. So as you can see, the best values would be with a length of around 8 for the RSI, and the trade duration still not so clear, but with a trade duration around 5 candlesticks. So here 5 4-hourly candlesticks after the entry. We would close each long trade that we have entered, and the performance would be quite good here around these values. And as you can see, when we go to the right of the chart, when the RSI length is bigger and bigger, the performance is less good. It's less blue as we go to the right. So yes, it probably means that when the RSI value is too big, yes, simply the performance is less good for our kind of breakout strategy here. So here's the 2-hourly heat map. As you can see, the best performances would be hit around with an RSI length of around 10 to 12, something like that, and a trade duration of around 4 to 5, maybe 3 to 5 candlesticks after each entry. So here 2-hour candlesticks. Let's take a look again at the equity curves that we got for the 4-hourly time frame here, the 4-hourly version. So as you can see, we had a big drawdown here for this kind of price action. So it reduces a lot the performance, the Sharpe ratio. So we don't like these kind of drawdowns. It's very hard to sustain long drawdowns like that. And with a slightly adjusted length for the RSI of 7 here, still the same trade duration of 5 days, if I remember so. We could pretty much erase here the drawdown. So it shows it's a very sensitive strategy, and maybe it could benefit the adding of a filter. Maybe a simple moving average filter or something like that. So hope you liked the video today. Please hit the like button if so. It showed how you can use the RSI indicator into an automated strategy. I'm going to continue testing such strategies on the premium member area, maybe by adding filtering here for this RSI strategy. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. I do backtests every day, multiple technical indicators based strategies that can be automated in crypto. I see you in the next video. Bye bye.